I saw this, and it's again from a a different source, but shout out to this guy Nagato, who's Crypto Nagato. He does have insights on building wealth to achieve freedom, so on and so forth. But check this out: 187 quant transactions exceeding. Listen to this: 100,000 in value were executed today. Now, does that mean it basically threaded the needle, as the saying goes? Could very well be. Why that's important is because you do see that Quant is up roughly 5-6% and so on. And let's face it, at Quant's market cap, that is significant, even at 5%. It moves the market enough. You see big differences when Quant is up 5% compared to something that's like low market cap, right? If something was trading, anywhere from 1 to 5%, that would be, that would appear to be more of a consolidation, if you will. I don't really see that happening now. So, do we get to the point where we're going to have new support lines being made and so on? Well, can't quite draw that conclusion yet. But look at this. This is the largest spike in whale transactions for Quant since September of 2021. And that is one of the key things I want you guys to take away from this, because in September of 2021, we did see all-time highs for Quant. I believe that was roughly in the $400 range. I don't have the exact number, if it was like 423 or something like that. I have to, of course, look into it, but I believe it was in the $400 range. So whales are definitely accumulating. And something I want to point out right here is that Quant has had the 187 transactions exceeding the 100K that I mentioned in value. And again, that's the highest in 16 months. And then if you're wondering about the source in regards to this comes straight from Sediment, who is, the quote unquote behavior analyst platform. A little bit more in regards to our particular Quant coverage. This is still in reference to Quant's biggest whale transactions. Take a look at this for yourself. And if anything, yeah, it's making headlines even on mainstream news. So Quant records biggest whale transactions, again, in 16 months. This is a report 20 hours ago, this time from altcoin. A little bit more about kind of like what I said. And, as far as Nagato, the source he took was accurate. The 187 Quant transactions exceeding were executed today. Basically value over 100,000, the highest since September 2021. Again, it just kind of pounds it home even that much more. On top of that, at the time of writing this particular article, it states the price of Quant has decreased by 1.18% in the last 24 hours, but obviously that's been up. On top of that, we do see that according to more data by CMC, the token's 24-hour trading volume has also declined by 24.38%. That said, Quant remains the 32nd largest crypto with a market cap of $1.3 billion. And, it kind of hovers around the 31, anywhere from 29 to, 31 to 32 range on CMC rankings. And says, what they expect for Quant in 2023. They basically feel as though, them as far as altcoin, the Salmon, basically tweeted a report stating that Quant's total supply on exchanges had decreased by 23.4% within the same period. Now, as far as the indicators, this indicates the coin experienced an increase in demand in 2022 and could be set for a massive price rally as the crypto market recovers in the coming months. And that is one of the key things you need to take away from all of this. As you know, here at CTM, we do track whale activity. I know a lot of you guys do as well. I think this is really, really something else, to say the least. We may have the start of the next breakout for Quant. We'll be following this closely. We have more Quant news to get into, but we do want to try to keep up with the 5 minutes in and the 5 minutes out. Back to you, Larry.
Thank you, Max, for that first part of the Quant segment. It's good stuff. That's the highest since September 2021 for 100,000 and above transactions. That's saying something. I mean, something's going on. There's sort of a feel in the market right now where we might be headed in the right direction. Like we've kind of found the bottom, perhaps, and maybe we're getting closer to, one step closer, I think, maybe to a bull run. It could be. I don't know. Let's see what happens with the Fed interest rates. That could be really big. We're waiting for it. Ryan says it doesn't matter as long as we are holding Quant. We are the winner. I love to hold and watch the market. Boom. Utility, we wait until 2025 and we party like rock stars. I added the last part, of course. Do you think the $200 price quant prediction in that article you shared is low for 2023?
I absolutely believe it's low for 2023. Yes, a lot of times those got you got to keep in mind. It's like we give you guys, for instance, community-driven news, and then on top of that, we do share specifically when it comes to, like, a little bit of the mainstream. When they take some snippets, if you will, when it comes to, for instance, tracking whale activity, which is great, they also try to, I guess you could say, protect themselves in hindsight by putting out extremely conservatively low predictions, if you will. But yeah, I full-heartedly believe we're going to blow way past 200. I mean, that just simply makes sense. If I'm committed to some of these statements about, the utility run will trigger a bull run, it ain't at the $200 price level. I'll tell you that much. So that's a good question. Thank you for that, Sobo.
All right, back to you, Max. Let's jump into the next segment. What do you have for us?
So it's still a little bit in regards to Quant. And if anything, it's something else when you hear, for instance, I don't know, see FUD out there. I mean, I'm not trying to like FUD anything. I just think it's crazy. We just outlined, for instance, the whole thing of what you saw here, right? With, just that, right? Whale activity and so on, right? That is really something else. Then you see stuff like this and you just say to yourself, like, are you kidding me? So I do follow Tokenizer. One of my second to last deep dives in Quant, we did feature his really well put together Quant article. I refer to some of these guys as like the Quant all-stars, if you will. Tokenizer, Quant Papa, Quanto Ronto, obviously Greg Lunt. So check us out. Quant isn't even a blockchain. Yeah, true. They build with core governments in silence, right? Well, some of the stuff kind of gets out there, right? Listen to this. Some of the highest volume since the bear market, right? We just recently deployed it. And then there's people like this who's like, yeah, Quant, dying volume. Huh? He posted this on this January 6th. Dying volume. There's like whale activity like here, like crazy. He says most projects not launched on their own blockchains are basically for money laundering. Quant is not the first project of its kind that will fall to the dust and disappear. Trade wisely. He feels very bearish. I mean, there's always going to be people who just don't see the light, and that's just the way it basically is. So I just wanted to point that out. On top of that, we have this for you. All right. Shout to this particular person who reported this. So it says, Quant can connect any major AI network, centralized and decentralized, private and public, with each other, which is true. But if anything, we did that particular video on Chat GPT. Think about that in itself. Quant would even be something that could connect the likes of that. And by the way, that is still very, very new and is still progressing and so on. Also, Quant can also integrate decentralized AI networks, right? And use cases with money, trade networks, automobile, any sector, basically. There's nothing bigger than Quant, TAM. Now look at this. Straight from Gilbert Verdian. Says, Mr. Gilbert, how will artificial intelligence basically be utilized, right? He responds with, we have been in discussions with AI Nexus since late last year. He has been discussions with AI Nexus since late last year to create decentralized AI capability using Overledger. To us, AI is another multi-app or middleware. It's a good point. I want to share it with you guys as well. And it is straight from the horse's mouth. It's called No Way in Hell. I'm actually going to share this in a way you can hear it because it's, we got to for the audio. And this is straight from, Larry's going to say it. Go ahead, Larry. But you were going to say, I love it when they call me
Quant yes. I love it when they call me Quant Papa. Yes.
Yeah. Quant, No Way in Hell it's called. Just listen to this for a second. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. This is some good stuff straight from the head honcho, Gilbert Verdian. Here we go.
Interoperability blockchains. So there's ones like Aeon, Polkadot, One Ledger, Icon, Arc, Sidechain, Interledger, Cosmos. Yeah. All of those are actually another blockchain. And so we're taking this from experience. We're taking an enterprise approach to this because what enterprises need is less risk and seamless connectivity for this to work.
Right.
And if you want to do this at scale, introducing an overhead on top of another blockchain is not the right way to do it, and you won't scale. So one thing that people in our experience, enterprise will change their back end and their systems to connect with you. And Ripple failed to do that very early on, and I think it was 2013 they were doing a trial with Westpac, which was a bank in Australia.
Right, yes.
And it was one of the early adoptions of this. And Ripple came in and said, "Oh, we're a blockchain. This is what you do, and this is how you connect." And they made Westpac change a lot of their back end for it to work. And basically, Westpac just said, "No, we are not going to change us to work with you. You have to change yourself to work with us."
I see.
And I worked at HSBC for quite a while in security in my career. So at HSBC, we spent something like £6 billion a year to keep the existing systems running and to maintain it. There's no way in hell that HSBC is going to go to any vendor and say, "Yes, we'll change everything for you." Not going to happen. It's the other way around. So the technology has to adopt itself for the enterprise to use it, and that's what we've done. So with Overledger, we've created the protocol and the operating system to connect blockchains together in a very seamless way without changing any of the blockchains. So right now, there's 5, 10, 15 blockchains. In 2 years' time, there could be another 100. We'll connect all of them. To us, it doesn't make a difference. And what we're doing is allowing that gateway and that connectivity from an enterprise like HSBC and Westpac to connect to all blockchains at the same time without changing anything really on their end. And that's quite powerful, because that's the right way to do it, and that's the right internet scale way to do it.
How dare Gilbert FUD my XRP bag? No, I'm kidding. He did point out some, valid things. He's not really technically against Ripple or anything like that, but pointing out that you have specifically a blockchain project or product in some cases, right? Have the attitude, hey, you want to do business with us and so on. You're going to have to jump through a whole, some hoops here. You have to basically do some big changes, right? No, he is right. That's not the way to go about it. And if anything, they're just not going to, put the money or time to do just that. With Overledger in itself, by not, by basically being blockchain agnostic, being that operating system, if you will, it takes some of these factors out. And I said this time and time again, when it comes to all these other things that are out there, typically speaking, the ones that claim they're interoperable requires an extra layer of blockchain to make that happen. And with Overledger, that is not the case, because for one, they're blockchain agnostic, and being an operating system to get it done, 3 lines of code or less, right? And to become fully interoperable. And if anything, how about this? Saving companies, organizations time and money, because if anything, they are able to get things done instead of waiting 3 to 4 years, like Gilbert mentioned, in many cases, getting done in under a year. Time is money, as the saying goes.
Ryan said that's how they talk. The legendary person, my man, Gilbert Verdian.